Okay. Right. Right.
What's running?
Right. Good. Alright, yeah, let's do this. Alright, Ken, slide down a little bit. Lisa, kind of center up a little bit. There we go. Alright, left fighting stance. Let's go go. Lead hand, back fist, reverse punch, punch kick coming forward. Hey. Punch kick. There you go. Hey. From here. Now let's finish this up. Punch. Like that. Hey. Hey. Punch. Like that. All right, young man. Reese asked a good question, so it begs an answer at least. What makes a back fist? What makes a whatever a back fist?
Striking with the back of your hand.
Striking with the back of the hand. Okay. More specific.
Movement from the elbow.
Okay. More specific. Okay. You got it.
Specific.
Okay. Striking with my interpretation of the back of the hand. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Back of the hand is different. Okay. It's back there. It's called something different in Japanese, and the name is flowing out of my head right at the moment. But this is different than back fist. Back fist is striking with the back of these first two knuckles. And the front part is whatever punch. The back side is the back fist. In the beginning, we teach back fist this way, right? Makes life easy. Give somebody the angle of movement of these two knuckles is not relevant to making or breaking a back fist. Yeah. Mastered back fist. Okay? You can come from just about anywhere. A few times that I sparred with him, one of my favorite things, I'd be square up, well, it didn't have to be me, it could be anybody. Squared off with him. He'd get into kind of like a half a Shiko, and he'd literally do this. And he'd just stare at you. You knew it was a trap. We all knew it was a trap. So we didn't know how to do anything about it. What you inevitably ended up eating was a back fist off of that lead hand. And he's leaning on it. Oh. It didn't matter. Come from whatever direction you had open. So from here, you're going to have two choices. We've got jab, okay? Same basic movement from the shoulder to the wrist, different emphasis on the hand. So if I'm here and I'm doing a lead hand, kind of Yoko side back fist, it's this way, from here. Now, your movement from the elbow, I don't disagree with it, but it's not specific to a back fist. Okay? If I'm going to jab, my elbow has to move too. So you're not wrong. It's just, unless you can specify it more, I'm going to say it doesn't really just apply to back fist. So from here, for this back fist, from our fighting guard, you're going to reach out and strike whatever method you want with the back of these two knuckles. Now you can do a back fist straight, this way. You can do a back fist kind of 45-ish that way, up underneath. I really don't care. But we're emphasizing striking with the back of these two knuckles. All right, again, from your fighting stance. Hey! Hey! Good. Done. Watch it. Hey! Hey! Hunt. Right there. Eight. Eight. Hunt. Right there. Eight. Eight. Hunt. Right there. Good. All right. Just to make Sean James happy, lead leg round kick. Lead hand jab. First, rear leg round kick. Again, lead leg round kick. Jab. Reverse. Rear leg round kick. Up. Hey. Jab. Reverse. Rear leg. Good. Hey. Round kick. Jab. Cross. Round kick. Hunt. Right there. Hey. Hey. Up. Switch feet for me, Risa. Right there. Hey. Hey. Up. Right there. Hey. Hey. Up. Right there. Good. Yeah, man. What is the key to a lead leg round kick? What must happen and how do we make that happen in order to make a lead leg round kick worth the time and the effort? More specific.
Low. Low.
More specific, yes. More specific though.
But to make it happen, you need to have your weight transfer first. Then load
Yes.
and reload.
Yes. Yes. Now, put that into, okay, those two concepts are exactly what I'm trying to get to. Put that into something that a very junior belt would understand. If I told him to do proper load, weight transfer, and probably in one ear, not the other. But there are two things that I could probably tell them that they would understand to do exactly what you guys just said. What do you think that would be?
Cat stance.
There's one. What's the second one? Probably a junior belt wouldn't really understand it, but well, for the sake of argument, we'll say they will.
Rotating of the hip.
Uh,
Or that part of the leg.
True. Not the point I'm trying to make, but absolutely. It's kind of implied in what I'm trying to get to. So what else besides cat stance do we need to do? It is a stance. There are two stances that make a lead leg round kick happen. Think about Matsukaze. Yeah, you're doing it. Say it.
Crane stance.
Crane stance. I'm here. My fighting stance. What makes the typical fighting stance. Normal, average, everyday, bread and butter fighting stance. What is it?
Kind of 50-50 maybe, or a little bit more than
50-50,
that.
sometimes then, for me, if I'm going to do 50-50, I'm going to pull to a Sanshin. If I'm here this way, I'm still kind of 60-40, 70-30-ish, so short front stance.
Kind of half some, she
Half,
half,
half.
half.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Okay, but we're not weight on our back leg, typically. Okay, some people do. I do at certain times, but it's not the go-to for 99% of all people. Right? It's a weight even or weight forward stance. From here, how easy is it for me to do a lead leg round kick without doing anything else? Can I just whip this leg up and throw it? No. That's what cat stance is for. So, you got to get our weight back on that back leg to free that front leg up. What cat stance does. So, there's the first part. Cat stance, get the weight shift. To get the load, what am I doing? I'm talking and not telling you what I'm doing. Training. I'm doing suri. To get to here, to make the hip rotation and everything else that you guys are talking about, to make the rest of that happen. I see far too much of, I go maybe a third of the way back, and then I lift that leg up, and I throw it from there. If I'm here in my sword, my frame, right? Where in relation to my foot is my center of balance, like the center of gravity?
so your foot goes up.
The foot is down, sorry, my base foot. If I drew a straight line through my center of gravity, through the bottom of my foot, where would it enter the top of my foot, and where would it come out the bottom of my foot?
Ball of your foot. The ball of my foot. Mostly.
I know what you're feeling, but I'm going to disagree with you. More specific, top of your foot, yes.
No, but I mean your hips are centered over,
Toes.
your foot's in the center of your pelvis.
Foot is centered on, okay, yes. Okay, now I'm with you. Now I agree. I know what you're feeling, but that's not where your weight is.
I look at it as being square.
Okay? You're not wrong, and you're not wrong. I disagree with your description, that's all. We're saying the same thing. For me, if I'm on, wherever I am here, if I drew a line down my center of gravity, it would enter the top of my foot right in front of my ankle, which is basically the midpoint of my foot. Now, if I put my weight on the ball of my foot, it means my heel is coming up, and I get like this. If I'm gripping, I can feel my toes gripping, so it feels like I've got more weight on there, but I don't. That's just the force this way, not the gravity coming down. So, like we talked about before, the stances that we have a whole lot of secondary uses. Its one and only use, true use, is weight shifting. Front stance, cat stance, a shifted weight. That is its only purpose, is to show a snapshot of how do I get my weight from here to do something else. If I wasn't going anywhere, I could just stay here. But if I'm moving, I have to shift weight. Because I could, well, I guess I could try that. It wouldn't go real well. Right? So, all of that to say this. Anytime you're doing anything, the weight has got to shift, especially if you're coming off that front leg and we're in some sort of weight forward, weight even stance. You've got to pull that weight back. The crane stance, Kamikaze, all that is about the load. Everything else comes after that. Oh. All right, back to Chu on Kamat. Where were we? Lead leg round kick. Jab, cross, rear leg round kick. Hey! Jab, cross. Hey! Up. Like that. H. Hey. Done. Like that. Hey. Hey. Done. Like that. Hey. Hey. Done. Like that.
Hey.
Alright, all right. Going back to, well, let's do this. Alright. 2-minute mask water break. Go. We'll come back. Move. Move. Going back to what we were just talking about, weight shifting. What individual components should be in a stance, regardless of that stance, to make it a good stance? Kind of a weird phrasing, but
Body components.
body components. If you're going to describe a stance to me, it doesn't have to be a specific stance. Okay, front stance, cat stance, crane stance, horse stance, whatever the stance is. What individual body components are universal across that spectrum?
Hip position, and also you don't want to be leaning back.
Okay.
Something like that. Maybe forward.
All right. What else?
Weight, feet on the floor with the weight transferring, so your balls of your feet and your toes.
All right. All right. What else? Okay. It's kind of universal to all techniques, but I'll give it to you. Anything else? I'm sure there are, but for the sake of argument, Ken hit the one that I was looking for. It's this vertical spine, right? If I do this, is that a good stance? No. If I do this, is it a good stance? No. What is probably the one universal rule of the human body? Where the head goes, the body goes, right? If I am vertical spine, head neutral, I can pretty much go wherever I want. If my head does this, or I can make my opponent's head do that, guess what? He's going that way, or I'm going that way. Same thing here, this way. what I saw from all three of you, from one degree or another, that last round of drill that we did, you're hearing about the weight transfer, but you're cheating because you want to get the foot up. And here's what I saw. Again, to one degree or another, all three of you were doing this. You started to shift the weight onto the back leg. You would lean over to square that hip up to throw the leg. Now, I can't get my body to do it because I'm afraid I'll hurt my back, but your center of gravity was literally the front of your base foot. The only thing keeping you up is the fact that you would lean back to balance, to counterbalance the leg. So it's like, the old school tightrope walkers with the bar. That's kind of what you guys did for doing with your upper body. If I'm here and I'm thinking, okay, I got to get my leg up and I got to get it up fast, been there, done that. Doing that gives you the illusion of a higher kick and a faster kick, not a better kick. Literally, you must transfer weight through calf, through crane, throw, and back out. Basically the way I can. At all times, you want that neutral vertical spine. Again, the second you lean over, people like me love that. Woo. It's throw time. Yeah. Right? You can get away with it point sparring because typically most people don't grapple when they point spar. It's just kind of, spar out here, tag and go, tag and go, tag and go. Which is fine. Not taking anything away from its value, but it does give people the chance to cheat like that because they don't meet up with too many people like me who like to stand there and grab that leg while they're leaned over and watch them fall. Kind of thing. So we talked about it before. From back stance through all the other stances to back stance. That's our weight transfer. From our fighting stance, you must hit that calf. My body actually moves this way. It has to keep my weight over that base foot properly. I'm hitting calf. Load is coming up through suri. Then the round kick, hip twist, base foot twist, all that stuff happens. And basically, I go out the same way I went in. Right? All right, so let's see a little more of that. Back to our fighting stance. Same thing, round kick, jab, cross, round kick. Hey! Now go ahead and throw it. If your body wants to throw that punch on the end, don't fight it. Let it go. Hey! Hug! Like that. Hey! Hey! Hug! Like that. Hey! Hey! That is much better. Hey! Hug! I don't know if it feels better to you, but it certainly feels better to me. Like that.
Hey,
Hey! Hey! Done. Like that.
hey,
Good. Come on. All right, Ken made a good point. Whether it's going down that last row, whether he felt it or not, I don't know. But it bears illustration. So we're here. Now, I've been talking about shifting weight back to my calf, doing all of this. Okay? That's not the only direction to shift weight. I can slide up the calf as well. Not my favorite. I'll do it on occasion. When it's appropriate, it's just not my go-to. You see a lot of the little skinny people, they like that little skip jump, forward to cap, rock and roll, works for them. So something to play with. Matter of fact, let's try it now. What the heck? All right, go back to our middle guard. This time, the drill is still the same. Lead leg round kick, jab, cross, rear leg round kick. But instead of pulling weight back, I want you to scoot that back foot forward to your cat to throw the round kick. Hey. The scooch forward only applies to the first one. Sorry, I should have said that. Because you know it's weird trying to get the weight to shift that way coming forward. Hey! What there? Hey! Hey! So. What there? Good. Get back. What you see some people do is basically they turn their hips and their pelvis into a pendulum. So they're here, they jump. Then they do that little hop jump. If you're good at that and you practice it, rock and roll. If you're slow, they'll see it a mile away. Just saying. But it does work because it's all about the weight transfer. Actually it's kind of a third way of doing it. Okay? If my center of my pelvis is here, my back foot, my front foot, right? If I pull back to the cat, I've shifted my weight correctly. Right? If I do what we were just doing this way, I've done the same thing, just going that way, right? Going that way. The little hop thing is basically your body isn't moving, you're just swinging your legs underneath you. So it's like 3 different manipulations of distance. One, I'm pulling away, kind of suckering them in. Hey, they're retreating. I come in, they eat the kick. The other one is maybe they've started to drift back a little bit. Maybe they're right at the edge of combative distance, so they think they're safe. You slide forward, pop them that way. The other one is I just need to switch feet, but I'm at the perfect distance. So you have retreat, you have advance, and you have stay, basically, to achieve the exact same drill 3 different ways, or 3 different distances, sorry. Those?
You're saying, so with the retreat, that's what we're doing.
That to me is retreat, right? Because you're increasing the physical distance, but not the combative distance necessarily. I think we talked about it before. It is the big ball of the back foot that sets combative distance, right? So I'm here, no matter what I do with this front foot, as long as I don't put it behind and settle, my distance is off of my right ball of my foot. So this one, it looks like you're retreating. He caught me with one time. Loved it. That's why I remember this lesson a lot. He started to pull back. He got all the way to here. I'm like, yeah, he's backing up. I come blistering in. because he did not settle weight, this is still technically his back foot. His distance didn't change as I ate that front kick.
Still the cat stand, sort of.
He did, yeah. From everything other than his left leg was in a cat stance or a crane stance. His leg was just doing something. I'm not even sure I put it into words to kind of put in the flow of a stance. It was going to make it. It was an illusion. For those of you that have a copy of Anshi's book, chapter 4, where he talks about combative distance, he talks about the illusion of distance. That's the thing. You are giving them the illusion of an increasing distance. They'll come in, boom, and they eat it. That's that. The illusion of decreasing distance. You give them this for a while, okay? Because most people will focus on here. When you want them to back up, all you have to do is stand out. And you can get them to say, oh, they're coming forward. And you really haven't done anything. That's that whole thing. Other questions on that? All right, let's move on. All right, go hold over there. Go hold over there. How'd you do? Come here. Empiropo. How'd you do? Come here. Okay. Remember, this is important for your continued good health and prettiness. This is not a good position for a rising elbow. What are the two main things a rising elbow does? Blocks? Right. That's simple. If there's somebody here and I do that, I've done neither of those things. Straight up. Now, if you have shoulder issues, or let's just say I cannot bring my elbow or my shoulder this far. It's possible, arthritis, damage. I'll tell you a story about his shoulder in a minute, man, before we close out there. Okay, let's just say that's as far as it goes. What does that tell us about kata? We need to alter a little bit to make that work. Getting in the habit of looking at your opponent, doing this, is a bad habit to get into. I would say that most everybody here, at least for now, can come at least straight, which is fine. If you can't, change that stance a little bit so that your brain gets used to that application. All right, we're going to skip a little bit because you guys reminded me of something I've been meaning to talk about. Tonight's a good night to talk about it. Kinan Shodan. Hajime. Yeah, man. For this next motion, what does this hand do?
Right?
Hammer fist.
Hammer fist. right? Hammer fist, okay. So, would I be correct to say that everybody pretty much stands up and does a Yoko strike this way? You're not wrong. This is not a right or wrong. This is a in addition to thought process. Everybody see the difference?
Get a punch.
The punch. Loops back to what we were talking about last week or week before with that toroidal flow, that helix motion, and compression to make a strike rather than expansion to make a strike. If I'm here, can everybody see that this is an expanding motion? We can all agree on that? Good. If I'm here and I compress my abdominal wall and I get that helix flow going, I get this contraction and expansion more than kind of a straight expansion. Everybody see that? Yeah. Again, not right, not wrong, just different. If I'm here and I'm going to do that expansion, I still need that same toroidal flow coming out this way. So maybe I combine the two. If I'm here and I'm really concentrating on that helical flow and I compress this way to add to my Yoko rather than just straight.
Compression, expansion.
Bang! Yeah, exactly. So when I press, I can go straight. Press, and I can go to the side. Right? With that compression, well, let's put that aside for a second. Slightly new topic. Somebody tell me about Ki. You're going to teach me how to do a Ki, why I should do a Ki. What are you going to tell me? Oh, that's what you call a links bus that you just went under right there. Louder, much more louder. Okay.
First every time, I was giving him a chance.
Okay.
Expel air to give you more energy.
Okay. Sure.
And to spare the voice.
That's a happy accident, which happens sometimes. Not always, though.
That's what I would go with, an energy release.
It's an energy release. Okay? What else? You're not wrong. All of it, rock and roll. And you're kind of making my point for me, so that's good. None of you mentioned sound.
I said to scare.
Well, trust me. There are days if I do a silent Ki, it's been known to work too. Sound does not make Ki. Sound is at best ancillary to Ki. At worst, it is actually detrimental to your Ki. Like Risa said and Ken said, it is the expulsion of air. It is the expulsion of energy that is the important part of Ki. I'm probably going to butcher this, and if Scott watches the video, maybe he'll correct me if I'm wrong. Ki means to combine your spirit. So kind of combining your spirit with your body. That kind of thing. Years and years and years ago.
Like Aiki.
Like Aiki, yeah.
Ki.
It's the same kanji, different order. Same kind of meaning too, yeah.
Does it also help you breathe? That's
Absolutely. Absolutely. The worst thing you do is fight, hold your breath. Because once you put out a giant ki, what's the next thing you've got to do? Your body won't let you not do it. That inhale, right? So you're right. It does all those things, and it also helps prevent you from this chest breathing. Yeah, that kind of thing. Pass out in a heartbeat. Knock you right out. We got Disney, Wide World of Sports. Every year they hold the big, worldwide AAU karate tournament down there. He got free tickets one time, so he asked me if I wanted to go with him. So he took, me and a couple other people, because he got a whole handful of them. Most, we were watching kata. We weren't watching sparring because that just drives me crazy. So we were watching kata. And it was all this, made up gymnastic kata, which is fine. It was entertaining. About halfway through the kata series, this lady gets up there, Seiinchin. Oh, okay. Nice change pace. Let's watch Seiinchin. First move of Seiinchin is to drop into the Shiko Kia, right? She's in Yoin. She's a little bitty thing. She's about this tall, about that big around. Calls the kata. You see her inhale. I mean, she inhales to the point she looks about 8 months pregnant. She's taking that much of a breath. She steps out into a Shiko. Her rear end was literally about that far off the ground. And she starts to scream. Seiinchin, if you don't know what it is or haven't seen it, it's on Shodan Kata, one of our Shodan Kata. It's 100-ish moves. One exhale. Hachi, we all thought she was going to pass out. They actually scored that nonsense pretty good. No, that is not a kiai. That is a noise. Okay? And trust me, if you're exhaling that long in a fight, you're going to pass out. Okay? In addition to getting beat up. Kiai is a specific instance to do just what you guys were talking about. Right? Wow! Right? And again, the noise is ancillary. It's about opening the airway and this contraction that I was just talking about. This is why I wanted to get to that. Now, I made that noise so that you could hear me. Maybe, right? To make noise, what do we have to do? We expel air and do what to make noise? Right. You constrict the vocal cords. So if you're making it's all in your throat. You're actually taking away all the things that you're trying to do with a kiai. Silent kiai, very powerful. Can do all of those things. The noise and the expulsion comes from the air rushing through the open airway, not constricting the vocal cords. Now, what caught my attention to remind me was watching all three of you. When we're doing your kiais, there are two things that will tell somebody who's looking and listening it's not a kiai, they're just making noise because a kiai goes there in a kata. You can see your voice box move, and it's very short. Back, back, back. All three of you were doing that. Okay. Now, I'm not saying a kiai has to be long like that crazy lady doing, how long is Seiinchin? Minute and a half, exhale, that's not what I'm talking about. But it is a sudden and violent expulsion of air and energy. If it has a sound, great. If you're trying to use it as an offensive weapon with the noise, then yeah, you're gonna make the noise. But it's not made by cranking down the vocal cords. The more open the airway, the more bass it becomes, the more it does those other things. How many people know who the singer Tiny Tim is? No? Okay. I could be wrong, I've never seen him next to it, but he looks to be about my size, but softer. He's a big-ish dude. He plays a ukulele. You know what a ukulele is, yes? Okay. And he has this absolutely falsetto voice. I mean, his voice is almost to a point where only dogs can hear it. He's a big guy. How many people know who Dwayne The Rock Johnson is? Yeah, right? Okay. Another big dude. Big, deep voice, right? To hear the two of them, hear Tiny Tim and to hear Rock just talk, who is more intimidating? Just from the sound. The Rock, right? It's all about the bass. I think there was a song about it years ago, right? So, by constricting your voice, your pitch goes up, and it brings down that threatening tone, right? You ever hear a lion, a big male lion, when he's getting ready to roar? It sounds like a volcano. It comes out, right? It doesn't start up here and come down. It starts way down here and stays down here. Okay. So that's what you're looking for. So when you're doing TI, like anything, do it or don't do it, don't fake it. Okay, if TI goes here and a TI is a noise that sounds kind of like TI. Most people who do TI, I mean, you do it, it does not sound like the word TI. People who are trying to fake TI make it try and sound like TI. Stop doing that. That's what it's called. It's not what it is. Host? All right, so all of that. Let's do Peanut Showdown again. Whether you still come sideways or you want to try that jab, either one. But what I want you to try is that compression to get there, that expansion and contraction, contraction, expansion to get you there. Hold. All right, from yours. Peanut Showdown. How'd you man? Yeah. Better. I like it.
I didn't get it. It felt like a noise.
Yeah.
It was better though.
Never heard that explained before.
Well, there we go. Hopefully it has some value to you. All right, again, Peanut Showdown.
Arizona.
How'd you man? Come on. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when we were talking about the Taurus and the Helix the other day, I told you guys about how the heart beats, yes? Let's twist this way. Or whichever way. Okay. Yeah, this way. So again, it's this contraction, expansion in this toroidal, this twisting helix motion. Right? We talked about here. It's kind of easy to see right here. What does that tell you about the rest of your techniques, maybe? Let's just say a step out, down block, punch.
In practice, you can make them all follow the Torah.
That's right. Exactly. That same contraction expansion applies to pretty much everything. So if I'm here, I'm gonna really over-exaggerate. All right, question on anything we've done tonight? Good? All right, right from there. Follow it. That's good? Right? Josie, right? What's Gandhi? Right? What the heck? Go. Look.